the connection disappeared. I'll just take Dipti online again. Yeah, guys. Yeah, sorry guys for the interruption. There was internet issues. I'm just getting Deepthi online again, and we'll continue the chat from where we left. Just give me 2 minutes. Deepthi, just wave when you're here so I can take you online again. Deepthi, are you here? Yeah. Adding you, 1 second.
Hello.
Yeah, sorry Deepthi. Yeah, there were connectivity issues at my end.
No issues.
Even now I can't see your video. I'm not. Yeah.
Yes.
Now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, there were actually a lot of questions that the audience had asked us.
Okay.
In the previous video. So I mean, I'm just trying to get that get hold of that thread again. Till then, we can carry on with the 3 stages you've discussed mostly. And if you want to run us through some asanas.
Yes, I would like to do that. So I need a little help from you. I will just change the camera. So
Yeah.
I want you to tell me if the slide is visible clearly.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you see it? Is it clear?
Now it's clear, but yeah.
Better?
Yeah.
So
I can see Tadasana written there.
Yes, that's correct. So I would like to run through some of the some of the asanas which can be practiced. This is Tadasana. It's a simple practice. Sometime back we just discussed about chair Tadasana. This is the standing Tadasana. It is something that helps in improving the balance and the posture. It also works beautifully on improving the overall blood circulation. So this is something very good for the young kids. You know, it also aids in increasing the height. Then this is Padahastasana, wherein you have a forward fold, and this beautifully stretches the hamstrings and tones the abdominal muscles. Then would be Padmasana, which is very good for reducing the menstrual discomfort. If somebody cannot get into Padmasana, they can start with Sukhasana. That is the normal.
Just adjust the angle a little, Deepthi. Just a little bit.
Is it better now?
Yeah, now it's perfect. Yeah,
now better. So if somebody cannot get into Padmasana, they can start with simple cross-leg sthiti, that is Sukhasana, and gradually move on to Ardha Padmasana and then to Padmasana. This is very much helpful in reducing the menstrual discomfort. It aids in that because it is actually working on the pelvic floor. A very simple asana. Then this is Paschimottanasana. It is forward fold again. As we can see, it is working on the pelvic floor, on the abdominal muscles, as well as on the hamstrings, hands, upper back. So this also is very much beneficial for regularizing the cycles. If somebody is having irregular cycles, this particular asana helps them. And next one would be Baddha Konasana. This is something, if you must be knowing, it is there in all my classes, because this works beautifully for a woman's body. It has humongous amount of benefits, but would like to say that this particular thing helps in dealing with the cramps. Baddha Kona asana helps in relieving the cramps, so can be done during the cycles if she's comfortable.
During the cycles.
Yes, again, it depends on the comfort level, but it should be practiced when not on cycle as well, because this is going to tone the pelvic floor.
Yes.
Then this is
so
also
it's called the butterfly pose. Most
yes,
people would know the Konasana as
yes,
that, right?
it is the butterfly pose. This is again, as we can see, works on the lower body as well as the upper body. This is again helpful in toning the what they call the pelvic floor. So these are some of the asanas which help in period-related issues that a woman has. But these one should not be restricted to only these asanas. You can do something like Bhujangasana. This is also called as Cobra posture. A beautiful asana, a beautiful back bend, which is going to strengthen the spine, as well as you can see it is strengthening the thoracic region and legs as well. So this is one of the asanas which can be done at any age. There are many modifications that can be done for this to suit the age-related thing. And this is Balasana. This, if you see, it works towards stimulating the thyroid gland. So ladies with thyroid issues should be considering Balasana as one of the asanas in their practice. There is something called as Matsyasana. I do not have an image of that. That is also something that helps in thyroid conditions. And this Setu Bandhasana, Balasana is also useful in constipation. It helps in working on the constipation related issues, and it reduces anxiety. This particular asana is helpful in reducing the anxiety, because there's a lot of blood circulation that happens towards the head, and that's how it helps in reducing the anxiety. Next one I would like to say, this is the Setu Bandhasana. So this is very much useful in releasing the lower back pain.
Really decent. The back. I really enjoy doing this one.
Actually, all these asanas have many more benefits than what I am telling. So I'm trying to focus more on related to the common problems. But if you look at Setu Bandhasana, apart from releasing the lower back pain, it is helping in strengthening the shoulders, arms, legs. It's working on the entire body, but it works beautifully in case if somebody is having lower back issues. But again, it should be done with caution. Then next would be Pavana Muktasana. This is asana which helps in toning the abdominal muscles, and it helps in improving the digestion, as well as very beneficial in acidity related issues and releasing the trapped gases. That's why the name Pavana Muktasana. And I would like to is the Viparita Karni. This is a restorative inverted posture, which is it's as simple as raising your legs up against the wall, and it can be done with the help of a pillow or without it, based on the comfort level. So this helps in conditions like varicose veins and migraine, because you are against the gravity, and also it regenerates the entire body. Few minutes of Viparita Karni. Once you're out of that, you will feel relaxed and energized as well. So it is a restorative inversion. These are few of the asanas which I thought I should be walking you through, because basically yoga is to some extent people related to asanas. So would like to give the small briefing about that. And it might interest you to know that yoga is not limited only to posture. There's there's something called as facial yoga, which is, which has a beautiful effect on toning up the facial muscles, giving a glow to the skin. And the mere process of doing facial yoga brings in happiness, because through the practice of facial yoga, we tend to have funny faces. And that we smile a lot, we laugh a lot during facial yoga, and that helps to give a happy feeling. So if you guys are interested, I can give a small demonstration of facial yoga.
I think people would really like that. Yeah.
Okay. So what I would say is, I would request everybody to sit comfortably. See that your hands are free. You're not holding the phone. And a simple thing which I would like to get started with is forehead smoother. So most of us
So you
have,
can do it along with us, people.
yes.
What the facial yoga poses right now, what Deepti is demonstrating, please feel free to do it along, and
Yes,
it will help.
please get the experience of how it feels. So for forehead smoother, it's like you make a loose fist. Use the index and the middle finger. So you bring the index and middle finger at the center of your forehead with slight pressure, and slightly start walking those fingers towards the temple region. I'll repeat it again. You bring the fingers, the folded fingers, towards the center of the forehead and start walking it towards the temple region. So this helps in increasing the blood circulation in the forehead region, and delays the formation of forehead lines. Then another one which I would like to say is something called as cheek plumper, wherein we fluff the cheeks, and that activates the blood circulation around the cheeks. It's going to help work with the smile lines, and also the wrinkles that get formed at the corner of the eyes. So that is as simple as you puff your cheeks, you inhale and you puff your cheeks, and you maintain. Normal breathing goes on normally through the nostrils, but you're maintaining the puffed cheeks. It's like, so we hold it for some time. We are holding only the posture. We are not holding the breath. Normal breathing happens, and while doing that, you feel that the cheek is getting stretched, and when yes, so that helps in activating the facial region. And then we also accompany it with the opposite, called as the fish lips, wherein you're pulling the cheek inwards. So this activation and relaxation, is what is stimulating. So the fish lips would be you suck in the cheeks inside and pout your lips. So like that. So typically it's done in a combination of cheek plumper and fish lips. So it's like, so you puff and you pull it inside. You puff and you pull it inside. So you're stimulating the facial muscles. And a simple thing like, you rub your palms and tap your face with the fingertips. This also helps in activating various parts. Various parts on the face. So these are, few facial yoga exercises which I can recollect.
That we can do every day to just keep
these
the face.
Facial yoga exercises you can do every day and anytime. The restriction of doing it after food or having gap after food, there's no restriction. You can do it anytime, because it is not related to, you're not changing your posture. You're in a straight sthiti. And another thing I can tell is for hair fall. I mentioned about hair fall, if you remember.
Yes, so, and somebody is asking us also, Rashmi Nayak is asking about how can women who are suffering from hair fall or baldness and other hair issues, how can yoga help them? Are there any?
Yes, that's correct. See, there are a lot of asanas which can be done, but some of them are advanced asanas like Shirshasana, which helps in activating the head region. Even Setu Bandhasana, sometime back, which I said, that also helps. Yes. But let's not get into those kind of asanas. I would like to tell a very simple asana called as Balayam. The thing, the name itself defines it, Bala Vayayam. So it's exercise for the hair, and you will be surprised to know that we are not doing it on the head, we are doing it on the fingers. So
Yes.
the peripherals, fingertips and toes and legs are having the nerve endings. And it
Yes.
is the nail bed. The nail bed is known to have connections with the hair follicles. So for
Okay.
Balayam, you just have to curl your fingers and start rubbing the
Okay.
nails against each other. Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
If
As simple
somebody
as
wishes, they
that.
can also start using the thumb, but other four
Okay.
fingers also are good enough. And
Yeah.
this is just a simple exercise which can be done while watching TV or just like that when you're sitting. And I would
Yeah.
ask everybody who is online now to please close their
Hmm.
eyes for a few minutes while doing this. So let's
Hmm.
practice this. Close your eyes and curl your fingers and start doing Balayam. That is, start rubbing the nails against each other. Once you're comfortable, increase the pace. Slightly increase the pace of rubbing the nails. Continue with your eyes closed. Do not open your eyes, but stop the practice. Gradually slow down and stop the practice. Let your eyes remain closed. And now, you just open your fingers. Eyes are still closed. Open your palms, open your fingers. Try to feel the vibrations that are generated at the fingertips. Just
Yes.
few seconds of Balayan, you can feel that you can open your eyes, Surbi.
Yeah, that
Just
tingling is there.
yes. So we just did it for few seconds, and you could
Yes.
feel the tingling sensation at the fingertips. So those who
Yes.
practice it on daily basis, they feel the vibrations till the wrist of the hand, and that
Yes.
some of them also feel the vibrations happening in the head region.
Okay.
So this is something which I won't say will grow the hair back. I am not aware about that, but it will definitely stop the hair fall. But it has to be practiced, on daily basis, and to see the effects, it should, be done for 2 to 3 months. ऐसा नहीं है कि I am doing it today and my hair fall should stop
ये
today.
हो
It
गया.
won't work like that. So you
Yes.
have to have patience. You have to be disciplined to do it every day to see the results.
Yes. Yes. That's nice. Very nice, Dipti. So, Dipti, there's a question from Divya, and she's asking, can conditions like thyroid, diabetes, acidity also be managed through yoga?
Yes, yes, definitely. Definitely. Not only managed, I would say can be improved. The conditions can be improved for a better to be better is what I would say. Like, see, if we talk about thyroid, there are asanas like Matsyasana, then there are asanas like Setu Bandhasana, which I showed an image some time back. So these help
Yes.
in activating the thyroid gland. And there is also a pranayama practice called Ujjayi Pranayama, which is very beneficial in thyroid conditions.
Okay.
When it comes to diabetes, there are lots of twists and turns that happen through a session in a yoga, and those twists help in increasing the insulin production. But typically for diabetes, there is an asana called as Vakrasana. So that is Vakrasana. I don't have the image of that. That is a spinal twist, and it helps in diabetes kind of conditions. What was the next one? Diabetes, thyroid, and
diabetes, and 1 second. Acidity.
Acidity. Yeah, acidity also. Yes, acidity can be managed, can be improved. Actually, conditions of acidity gets improved through yoga practices like Pavana Muktasana and abdominal exercises that I showed some time back. Those help in managing the acidity conditions. Also, there are Kriya practices, which help in improving the acidity.
So while one is facing acidity, that is at that time also one can do Pavan Muktasana to overcome it, or is it?
No. Not. It would be difficult to do Pavana Muktasana when you are having that acid reflux or acid problem. When you're not having that, you should be doing it. So the occurrence of acidity reduces. The frequency reduces, and gradually
a chronic problem can use these asanas, and then the chronic that relief would come, and it wouldn't occur so often.
Yeah, the frequency would reduce, and that's how it helps.
Yeah. Okay. And so also another question on eye care, does yoga help in vision improvement, and can dark circles be reduced using some yoga exercises?
See,
Dark
there is
circles and vision improvement.
see, dark circles will be taken care with facial yoga. So
Yeah.
facial yoga and pranayama practices will
Hmm.
definitely take care of dark circles.
Yeah.
But when it comes to eye care, there are a lot of exercises which are there in yoga. There are a lot of intense exercises like Jyoti Trataka also, which are meant for eye care. But then
Hmm.
these are something that has to be done again under supervision. Simple
Hmm.
eye exercises like rolling your eyes in clockwise direction or an anti-clockwise direction, seeing up, seeing
Hmm.
down, rolling the eyeballs up down are good enough to stimulate the area around the eye. But
Hmm.
to do something beyond that, it is better you do it under supervision.
Super. Yeah.
But yes, there are a lot of asanas which can, there are a lot of practices which help in improving the vision and maintaining the eye health.
Yeah. So we've discussed a whole lot of asanas, Dipti, till now, but there is also pranayama, which I believe is a very essential part of yoga.
Yes,
So can you talk us through pranayama a little, and
sure,
also
sure.
that is it okay to just be doing asanas and not do pranayama? Does your daily yogic routine require asanas plus pranayama, or it's just, I mean, you can just do your asanas and that's okay? So a little light on pranayama.
Sure, sure, definitely. In fact, it's something that I missed. Thank you for recalling. What is pranayama? The word pranayama itself is prana, which is the energy and life force, and yama is again, channelizing the life force. So, pranayama is the science of channelizing the energy. The breath. It's not about
Yeah.
controlling your breath. It's about channelizing it in the right way. So there are
Hmm.
various techniques, various things in pranayama, various mudras that are adopted, which aid in enhancing the process of breathing. And
Hmm.
pranayama practices are very essential in current times, because it is something that helps in improving your immunity. Because with pranayama practices, your oxygen level increases, the
Okay.
capacity of your lung also increases. So that is how
Hmm.
pranayama works. And the next question was whether we should be doing pranayama on
I
daily
mean,
basis.
it
I mean,
is
after a yoga
important, yes,
session.
along with absence, yes.
Yes, because it is important to do pranayama when you do a yoga session or otherwise also. But typically, when you do a yoga session, it is needed because, see, if you look at a typical yoga session, first it starts with warm up. Then you do a series of asanas, which is going to, heat up the body, activate the
Hmm.
body. And if you're going to leave a session just after activating your body, then, there would be tiredness that would happen towards the end of the day. But
Yes.
if you take time to do pranayama and do some relaxation, like shavasana, or there are different relaxation techniques. If we
Hmm.
do that towards the end of the class, then there will be a balance. When you are out of the session, you feel balanced, you feel energized, not tired. So
Hmm.
it is important to do pranayama. Do not skip your pranayama sessions, pranayama towards the end of the class. Do it.
Hmm.
If you cannot do pranayama, at least relax by doing shavasana. Do not skip it.
Hmm. So
I can
cooling
even
down is
give you,
very important. Hmm.
yes,
Yeah.
cooling down is equally important because
Hmm.
uh, you want a balance after once you're out of the class, you have to get back to your routine activities, right?
Hmm.
So if you're feeling tired, if you're feeling too high activated, then it gets difficult. So
Hmm. Hmm.
pranayama and relaxation techniques does that to you. It is going to calm you down. It's going to relax you. It's going to bring back the breathing to a normal pace. So
Yes.
as well as, in fact, it's going to improve your breathing, And
Hmm.
pranayama is something that also gives you, brings in focus and concentration. So do
Hmm.
not skip pranayama.
Absolutely. Yeah.
If
So
you want, I can tell you, do we have time? I can tell you one or two pranayama practices.
yes, yes. Why not? Please do. Yeah.
Sure. Okay, so simple pranayama practice, most of the practices involve some or the other mudra. We would do something with today with Dhyana Mudra. It is also called as Chin Mudra. So join your index and middle finger, join your index and thumb finger, and all the other fingers are straight. So this is Chin Mudra. It is also called as Dhyana Mudra. So place the palms comfortably so that your attention is not towards your palms and arms. Adopt Chin Mudra. Close your eyes and do deep breathing for a few rounds. I would ask everybody to do it. See that your head, neck, and back is aligned. Keep your eyes closed. Join the thumb and index finger and do deep inhalations for a few breaths. Inhale and exhale deeply. Bring your awareness to your breathing. Then I would say everybody open the fingers of your right hand. Release the Chin Mudra. Fold the index finger and the middle finger. So this becomes Nasika Mudra. We use this for a single nostril breathing and alternate nostril breathing. We'll start with single nostril. We use the thumb to close the right nostril, and we use the ring finger to close the left nostril. So first we start with the left nostril. You close the right nostril and inhale and exhale only from the left. Naturally, natural breathing. There should be no effort. This is Anuloma Vinuloma practice. What we are doing right now is Chandra Anuloma Vinuloma. The same thing can be done on the other side. You use the ring finger to close the left nostril, open the right nostril, and you inhale and exhale only from the right nostril for a few rounds. This would be Surya Anuloma Vinuloma. And the next would be joining these two into alternate nostril breathing, that is Nadi Shuddhi Pranayama. So it should always be started from the left nostril. You inhale from the left, close the left nostril, exhale from the right. Then you inhale from the right, close the right nostril, exhale from the left. So this is one round of Nadi Shuddhi Pranayama. So you can actually build on this, do few more rounds, and then feel the calming effect that it gives. And I would suggest, if you're practicing pranayama, try to keep your eyes closed, because that brings in an internal awareness. Your focus is more on the breathing, and that is very important when you do pranayama.
Yes, that's good. So, Deepti, one more thing. I mean, we do a lot of Om chanting also in our yoga session. Why Om? Why do we chant Om?
Okay, see, Om is known to be the sound of the universe. It's like it's a sound in the universe, and every human being is having a frequency of their own. And when we chant Om, it brings it generates the vibrations in your body and connects you to all the living things. That is what is believed about Om. And even Om, has three sounds in it: U and Ma. The sound connects to the body, the U sound connects to the mind, and the Ma sound connects to the soul. So with just simple chanting of the word Om, you're actually connecting your mind, body, and soul. And also, you can experiment it to yourself. When you're chanting Om, your mind cannot think something else. Your mind will not wander. So that is why in meditation, predominantly Om is used, because when those vibrations are created, the mind doesn't wander. There is no scope of thinking of what I'm going to do next after this class, or what presentation I'm going to do. Those thoughts don't come. You are in the present. So that is what is needed in meditation, right? We want to be in the present, and that is how Om gets chanted.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. So I think we are almost towards the end of the session, but I'd just like to quickly take up one or two questions that have come in from our viewer. So one question from Ajit is that I do a lot of motorcycling, and on long rides my back aches. So can yoga help me strengthen my core?
Definitely, yoga helps to strengthen the core. Surya Namaskar is a beautiful, the series of Surya Namaskaras is beautiful core strengthening exercises. If you do it at a faster pace, it works like a cardiovascular exercise. And if you do it at a slower pace, you know, wherein you're holding the asanas for a few seconds and doing it, it works towards building up the core. And to answer his question, if he gets lower back pain or back pain because of motorcycling, Vipreet Karni, which I showed some time back, when you know the legs are against the wall, that is something, you know, that is going to help him in immediately feeling the release of the pain. You know, even 10 minutes of Vipreet Karni relaxes the back beautifully. There are many other asanas, but then this is something which I have shown and it's easy to relate. Yeah, can be done from anywhere.
Yeah, nice. And so a lot of people have really appreciated all the feedback and all the inputs that you've given, Deepti, today.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We covered almost all the questions as well. Probably, you know, you can also leave your, I think you have a Facebook page, so you can leave your link to your Facebook page or your number, whatever is comfortable, so people can reach out to you. And if they wish to join your classes or take some more further guidance from you, they can reach out to you.
Sure, I'll do that.
Yeah, I'll do that. Thank you so much, Deepti. It was lovely talking to you today, and the insights have just been very wonderful. And judging from all the comments that we are receiving, I can see Divya saying something. 1 second. Yeah, so everyone is really thanking and appreciating for the lovely session. So thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much to everybody who has seen the video. And thank you so much again to Thea for giving me this opportunity. I would like to say that you guys are doing a beautiful, apart from, you know, the beautiful range of products that you guys have, the series of videos that you guys are featuring for women empowerment have been, you know, really insightful and beneficial as well. Please continue doing that. We look forward for these videos.
Yeah, and it is because of guests like you that these series are becoming possible. You know, it is because you guys are opening up to devoting time for it that we can do it. So thanks a lot to you all.
I'm very sure every guest would have enjoyed these sessions at Thea. Thank you so much to everybody.
Thank you, Deepti.
Thank you.
And
bye-bye.
thank you
Thank you.
Everyone who joined. Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.